Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another tutorial, not so much a tutorial, but a drawing video on my channel, What Ricky Do. Today we're going to be drawing Chibi Metroid and Samus. As you can see, I'm starting off with two squares, one 3 inches in area, I think, 3 inches on both sides, perfect squares, both 3 inches in length and width. And the top square is actually 2 inches in length and height, width, one of them, something like that. Words. But basically, today I'm going to be doing my hardest challenge yet. If you didn't get that, that dot that I've just drawn in is actually half an inch from the bottom of the square, and same from the right side, because basically I'm just drawing another square within a square to get the circle for Samus's helmet. But yeah, today I'm going to be facing my hardest challenge yet, because as I'm drawing Chibi Samus and Metroid, I'm going to try and prove that googly eyes and blushies can make anything look cute. Even something as ugly as a Metroid, I'm going to attempt to make that look cute. So what you can see me doing here is I am dividing, not so well because I had to rub out the lines because I want to be accurate. That's not really quarter either, but I want to be accurate, but I want an estimated guess as well, so estimated accuracy. But you can see that I'm kind of dividing that square that I've just drawn in into quarters, just so that I can get a more accurate circle. Because you draw the four corners with the four portions of the circle. If you mirror that in each square that we divided, that initial square that we drew within a square, as well as the other square, so many squares, except for the circle that we're drawing now. Basically, if you divide a square into quarters, then you can kind of mirror that image around and get a more accurate circle. So that's what I got there. It's not necessary for me to have an accurate circle, but I'm doing it. But now you can see that using that halfway line, that bottom right square, I can plot where another circle is going to go for her shoulder pads. Because they're often huge and at times actually bigger than the head. But given that this is going to be like a chibi-esque kind of Samus, I am making them smaller than the head, or rather so the head larger than the shoulder pads. So now that we've got that one shoulder pad, and we can start to draw this this right shoulder pad. No, well, technically our left shoulder pad in. It's going to be in the top left square this time, so the complete opposite to the other circle that we drew in, the other shoulder pad that we drew in, because this one's going to actually be raised. The position that she's going to be in is like a crouched position, with her right left arm pointing upwards with her cannon, as if she's just like fell from the sky and has just like landed on this surface in optimum battle mode. And so now we can use that edge of the bottom square. We're going to use that to kind of plot out where her chest plate is going to go, because this is going to be her where her chest armor is. So you can increase the angle of that, but that's just going to be pointing at that line. You know what line I mean, where the top square and the bottom square intersect. That is where the left chest line is going to meet in that corner, and then we've got the other chest line meeting there as well. So now that we've got the chest in place, we can start to get the waist. And I'm just drawing a stick figure at the moment, but you can see that I've just gotten the spine in, and we can start to plot where the legs are going to go as well. So now I can just draw in the I can fill out the actual body parts of that, but that's basically what I'm doing now. well, not now. Now that's what I'm gonna do in a bit. Once I get this chest plate right, because it's not falling quite as I would like it to. It needs to be a bit smaller. Not smaller, a bit. I don't know the word for it. Robust, a bit rounder, something like that. Or I just need to start again with it. So I'm going to do that. Let me try and get it in properly. So about no, not two. About a centimetre away from that bottom line, I'm getting in that that part of the chest that's just swooping straight across. This line would still intersect with where the two squares do, but it's a bit straighter, and then we can get in that angle, which is just like a mirror image of the angled line over on that side, on the right, her right side, our left side, where I've drawn that line. None of that makes sense, so just try and draw the shape how I've drawn it, and that'll be fine. So now I can start to plot where the groin piece is going to go. It's just going to be a simple triangle, really, and that's pretty much that. So we can start to get the legs in. So now that we've got the groin intact, we can start to get the basic shape for the legs in. As you can see, I'm drawing an oval, which is basically just the simplistic shape for the legs that we're going to be drawing. I mean, I might get into a bit more detail of adding the actual knee and where the ankles are, that kind of thing, in a moment. But I'm just getting in the basic shapes, really. His oval, that's his oval. His thigh, which is just an oval, and his feet, which are just circular objects, really. But I mean, you can see that that's just going to be his leg area, and same for his arm, just an oval for his what's the lower portion of an arm called? The bit below the elbow, and his hand, which is just a circle. So as I said earlier, I'm just breaking this this initial oval down into segments now. So I mean, we've got his thigh, which I'm drawing in now, and just that curve is bringing across the ankle, and then we can start to draw the foot in, which is just a simple circle. But yeah, I mean, being a chibi drawing, it doesn't, like, it's not as in proportion as usual. I mean, it's quite odd to see ankles and knees for a chibi, really. It's just like they're not separated into thigh, ankle, knee, foot, that kind of thing. With chibis, it's usually just like leg. Sometimes they don't even include feet, it's just the round bottom of the leg. But with this, I'm going to, because with Samus's suit of armour, there's going to be like little hinges, if you will, like where the actual undersuit is, like the cracks in the suit, where there's the under suit portion, which is more of like a space age filter thing. I don't know what to call it. It's like a gasket kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, it's quite rare to see the limbs separated into portions like I've done, but I mean, that's what's going to make it look slightly less chibi, because it's like a bit too much detail than it's supposed to have, and the things look more in proportion than usual. But I'm just doing it because with the way that her suit is, as I've said, there's going to be gaps in the suit, so I mean, it's got to have it separated, really. But I mean, I'm starting to get a bit more of a detailed shape on the foot there. And I mean, I'm just rubbing that out now so that I can do that leg again, because it didn't seem quite right to me. Just placing it a bit more forward, like the angle. Just doing the angle a bit better on that, so that it's facing forward a bit more. Because you got to get that sense of that knee is like the part of the body which is like most at the front, apart from the head. But there's not really much to say on this. It's just ovals. I mean, I'm going to start dropping the detail later, which I'm probably going to have to do in time lapse because the basic shape's taken quite a while. But I mean, basic shapes are important too. I mean, once you get the basic shapes in, details can pretty much just be copied, to be honest. You just need to follow the lines, whereas basic shapes sometimes it is kind of hard to get the proportion right. So, I mean, you can see that her arm, which isn't a gun, is like on the same level as where that knee drops and where that right foot is as well, because like you got to think of them all being on the same surface. But I'm just starting to draw in her gun now, her big blaster cannon like thing, and just getting in the shape for that, which is basically just like a triangle with the point cut off and rounded instead, which is the technical term for that. But like I say, just getting the basic shape, I can add those circle, oval pieces on the sides, just for more detail, and we can start to rub away some of this initial circle now, because like we know where that shoulder piece is going to go. Clearly the head's going to layer over that, so we can just drop that. Drop those lines in where they're obviously going to be hidden by the chest plate and also by the head as their helmet as well. Then we can do the same on the other side in a bit as well. Just getting the tip of that blaster defined a bit more so you can see it. But I mean, that's pretty much it for the basic shape, really. I mean, the rest of it comes with the details now, but I'm not really happy with this leg again. This leg has been a thorn in my side. But basically, I'm just going to get this leg done now, and pop in all the details, and we'll come back and get the Metroid done. So yeah, I'll just jump into time-lapse now, and get all the details on Samus sorted. Okay, so you can see that I got all the details done on Samus there. I've just moved the camera down slightly so that we can get the Metroid in full focus. But basically, I'm just rubbing out that bottom square because I've changed my mind. That top square, which is 2 inches big, isn't actually going to be in the smack bang in the middle of that third 3-inch square. The 3-inch square and the 2-inch square actually are going to line up on that right edge and protrude over by 1 inch from that other one. So instead of the top square being in the middle, it's actually in line with the 3-inch square on the right hand side, if you understand me, which I really hope that you do. But I'm just drawing the lines over again anyway so that you can see what I mean, even over Samus herself, just so that you can kind of see where those initial squares were. But yeah, I mean, I jumped in and got a hell of a lot of detail done for Samus, which you can see on the suit itself. Not looking so chibi because it's all it's quite a lot of detail done there. But it's chibi-esque. So I'm going to be using that word a lot, which basically means not chibi, but it's a word that I want to use so that the chibi part of this video doesn't die out. But the Metroid will be chibi-ish. Very chibi-ish indeed. So you can see what I've done. Again, I've just changed that square. I've not changed it. I've cut it into 4 portions, and I'm just using that to draw the circle for the Metroid. And it's not going to be a circle itself, but it's obviously going to have that kind of shape. And dividing those quarter segments in half, the bottom one anyway, I'm just starting to get in that that line for where the horns are going to go, because I mean there's going to be a bit of a I mean I'm dividing that again as well into half, so I mean if you think of that as dividing those bottom 2 squares into 8, that's what I'm doing. But basically I can start to verge off from that initial circle that I drew before. I can start to verge off from that so that I can start to get the actual shape of the Metroid in. That bottom line is going to show me where the bottom of the Metroid ends. And then the top line that I drew in that's going to show where that curve ends. So, I mean, basically these are where the horns are going to go. That curve that I'm drawing in now, and I mean by dropping in another line, which I should have initially dropped it anyway, but basically these 4 lines that I've drawn in the bottom portion of the square are just going to show me where these where the curvature of the Metroid are going to lie. So you can see that where the horns protrude from, the top line, not the top line, the middle line is showing where the horns protrude from. The top line is showing where the gelatin of the Metroid curves around the horn, and the bottom line is showing where the let's just call that the nose part. Of course it doesn't have a nose, but we're just going to say that anyway. So I mean we've put those lines in just so that we can tell where everything's got to go, and I mean of course it's going to be the exact same on the other side, so that's what we're drawing in now. Just getting that initial it's like a hole in the Metroid's face where the horns come out of. So that's what we're doing. And we can, like I said before, we were just verging off of that initial circle so that we can make the shape a bit more accurate and curvier. It was like the Metroid's all squishy, so it's going to have all these like bumps and lumps all inside it, and it kind of looks like a jellyfish shape. So, as I said before, it's not really the perfect circle. It is quite squishy, which is the perfect candidate for Samus to ride on. She's donned herself a rogue Metroid to ride on, and it just happens to be a cute one as well. We're hoping. We still have doubts that we can make one of the most ugliest creatures in game history into something cute, but we will do it. We will make sure that Google Eyes and Blushies don't fail us now. We're gonna have a good go at least, anyway. But now, from where those lines are, we can start to drop in one of the horns now. And I mean, it's got quite a weird curve shape to it. It's not just like a straight out spike. It does like curve in and out a bit. And of course, that's going to go much past that initial square, and past the line segments that we drew in earlier. But we can start to get the shape of those horns in. I mean, this one does actually need to be a bit thicker. and more curvier as well, because that's not a great shape that we've got going on there, but we can alter that in a moment. I mean, the shading is going to help a lot as well. I mean, the shape might not always be a great shape that we're looking for, but once you drop the shading in, that should look a bit better. So I'm kind of happy with that first initial horn now, so we can start to get in the smaller smaller horns that are more towards the front, which are actually going to meet at that bottom line of the square, and that's a pretty good shape that we've got going on for that horn. So that shouldn't take much altering. So we should be able to make a start on the other two horns on the other side in a bit. I mean, as you can see, it's kind of at a 3/4 angle. The Metroid isn't quite facing us directly as Samus is. But I just wanted to change the where the square lies, because obviously Samus would be right on the edge of that Metroid. I didn't quite think about where Samus herself was going to lie on the Metroid, really, but it does look better where she is now. Sorry that I had to jump into so much detail without being able to show you guys what I'm doing and stuff. I mean, of course, at some point it probably would be best for me to do a basic shape, detailed, and colouring video, separating the tutorials into 3. And if that's something that you'd be interested in, then by all means, of course, I can jump right into doing that with the tutorials and actually just break everything down into sections. I just feel that I drone on enough with these videos. I mean, a simple Chibi video is looking to take about 40 minutes. I believe that this video is going to be pretty long, and it's just a Chibi video. Like I said, I do hope that I will get faster at some point, but that all comes with practice. So, I mean, doing this will help, surely. So, I just gotta keep trying, but that's what I shall do. And hopefully you're all still here to witness me become a bit faster and hopefully better at drawing as well at some point, because we've come a long way from the start, so let's not stop now. So yeah, I mean, I've got both those horns in now. I mean, this last one I'm doing isn't looking too great in terms of shape. It looks quite massive as well. Gargantuan is the word. So I can just do that again. And that's looking a bit better. I mean, the shape probably needs altering slightly, but again, it's something that the shading will make better. I mean, the shape can look really crap and basic at the moment, but the shading can always make it seem more three-dimensional, giving it a bit of an edge. But I guess it's alright how it is. So I'm going to make this side a bit less circular, make it a bit more like the other side, which is bumpier, because I don't want it to be just that basic circle shape. It does need to have a bit of an edge to it, a bit more bumpy. And I mean, the gap between the horn and the flesh itself does need to be pretty big. But basically what I'm going to do now is, if I just jump into getting the details done, get some shading done, and then I can come back and basically show you how disgusting it's initially going to be, and then make it cutesy. So I'll do that now. Okay, and so I mean his insides are done now. He's looking pretty damn gruesome, to be honest. But now we can start to, if we just erase those. But the key for a good googly eye is always go large straight away. I'm going to be drawing a massive circle here because this Metroid is going to have massive eyes. I mean, you can use that squishiness as a lower eyebrow sort of thing, kind of like a cheek, if you will, to try and make that look a bit more puffier, so that the Metroid itself actually looks childlike in a way. And massive highlights always help that out as well. And by using those ball sack nervous system things that are on the inside of the Metroid, we can use tiny circles, well, a mixed variety of different size circles, as pupils, which is actually okay as an eye. It looks pretty decent, pretty cute-ish looking, as cute as a Metroid can look, and that eye's pretty good, really. And I mean, following along from that line, we can start to get the other eye in, but first we're just going to get some blushy lines in there. And already he's looking a bit innocent and embarrassed. He's like, what's this guy doing on me? If my friends catch me giving this guy a ride, it's not like I mind. She's a nice gal. She's a nice woman. I'll give her a lift. But if my friends catch me, I'm a bit screwed, aren't I? And that's the kind of look we're going for. We're going for little chibi, that little chibi Metroid that's looking a bit, ooh, naughty. Samus riding on me. I'm supposed to be killing everyone, and yet I'm giving you a free pass to the next station, apparently. And that's what blushies and Google eyes accomplish. And speaking about accomplish, I believe that today we can accomplish by making this Metroid look pretty darn cute. Because at the moment, it's looking pretty good. But, I mean, once I get this eye in, that's pretty much it. All the details are done. I just need to get it inked, get it coloured, and we can come back and speak about that. I mean, obviously, next step is I'm going to be speaking about my pens as usual, because I love talking about the pens. But just speaking about what pens I'm going to be using, what tips, that kind of stuff. But yeah, what thickness, not tips. But pretty much that's it done. I mean, I'm just getting in that last highlight, but I'm going to just come back and show my pens again. And there we go. I mean, I added quite a bit of detail there, but I mean, you can see that I've got my pens ready, and just outside of the camera frame, that's a 08 that you're going to be looking at. Given that this is a chibi drawing, I'm going to go a bit more bold with the thickness of the line, as opposed to the usual 05 that I use for the thickest line. A 08 is going to be a good help in getting that cartoony look. 05 is going to get those inside thick lines. 03 is going to get the other like finer details in, and 01 and 005 are going to be the even finer details. So I'm just going to get that inked and coloured and come back. Right, so there you have it, my drawing of a Chibi Samus and Chibi Metroid cruising around together all over. See, I'm a Metroid fan, but I don't know what the planet is called, any of the planets. We're not even going to discuss it. Basically, I got a hell of a lot of the colouring done. I'm quite happy with how the Metroid turned out, especially Samus is looking pretty cool. But I think the inner depths of the Metroid is looking even better. I'm quite chuffed with how it's come out, and I mean, you can see that I've added a bit of white gouache around there as well to get the true highlights of the Metroid in. You can also see that I got the pinkness of the blushies in to make it just that much cuter. I mean, you can't really see the eyes that much anymore, but I mean, those highlights are just making it look adorable. So we're going to stick with that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry again if it's not adequate as a tutorial, but I'll get there in the end. But again, thanks a lot for watching, guys. It's really awesome of you, and stay tuned for the next video.